After a down year, there's nothing more gratifying for an NFL player to have a fresh slate. That's exactly what OTAs, the first real stage of team activity, offer. With real action having begun on teams' practice fields, below is one player per squad who is in good shape to rebound in a big way, whether due to better health, individual performance, or scheme fit. Arizona Cardinals, wide receiver Zay Jones. It was difficult to find a Cardinals player who was good in prior years and struggled in 2023, largely because of the team's youth. But Jones is probably as good a bet as any. With Jacksonville in 2022, he posted a career-best 82 catches for 823 yards, not to mention 1.47 yards per route run. However, 2023 proved more challenging, with Jones playing just 474 snaps and accruing 62 targets. Even though the Cardinals now boast superstar Marvin Harrison Jr., Jones could easily become the team's WR2 and help work underneath to complement the rookie, especially as he gets acclimated early on. Atlanta Falcons, cornerback A.J. Terrell. The Falcons field several blue-chip youngsters who could dominate in 2024, and Terrell headlines those looking to regain traction. Terrell was one of the NFL's best cornerbacks in 2021, but his past 2 seasons haven't met that mark. He finished with overall grades below 75.0 and passer ratings allowed of at least 95.0 in 2022 and 2023. With defensive-oriented head coach Raheem Morris in place, Terrell should benefit from one of the game's better minds on that side of the ball. It's no coincidence that Morris had success with Jalen Ramsey and helped develop players like Darius Williams with the Rams. With his contract set to expire at the end of the year, Terrell has an extra incentive to play like the superstar he showcased he once was. Baltimore Ravens. Tight end Mark Andrews has been one of the NFL's best tight ends year in and year out, but a fractured fibula caused him to play in just 10 games last year. The result? His fewest receiving yards in a season in his career. Other tight ends like Sam Laporta gained traction with Andrews out, but with the 28-year-old getting a clean bill of health, expect Andrews to reclaim his post as maybe the NFL's best at his position with a monster 2024. Buffalo Bills. Defensive lineman Daquan Jones. Jones was terrific in 2023, with his 82.9 overall grade slotting 12th among defensive tackles to play 200 or more snaps. The issue, though, was that Jones tore his pec, preventing him from exceeding that playing time. A healthy Jones could showcase his long-term talent, truly creating a name for himself amid a Buffalo defensive line with no shortage of skill. Carolina Panthers, linebacker Shaq Thompson. It's a feat in and of itself that Thompson is still with the Panthers, but he's more than just a Super Bowl holdover. He can play well, too. Thompson fractured his ankle in Week 2 of 2023, playing just 68 snaps after exceeding 1,002 of the 3 prior seasons. Speaking of which, Thompson has generally been good when on the field. The 30-year-old posted overall grades of 72.3 and 72.7 in 2022 and 2023, respectively, and has reached the 40-stop mark in each of the past 4 seasons. Carolina will need much better overall defensive production if it wants to make a jump in Dave Canales' first year, and Thompson's return could provide a boost. Chicago Bears. Guard Nate Davis. The first year of Davis's 3-year, $30 million deal with the Bears didn't go as planned. He posted a measly 52.9 overall grade and a career-low 95.9 pass-blocking efficiency rating. A major reason for his poor play was a nagging ankle injury. Meanwhile, from 2020 to 2022, Davis never amassed an overall grade below 69.2. Nobody needs more of a fresh start than Davis, and that's exactly what 2024 should offer. On an upstart team with new talent in Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, Rome Oduns, and D'Andre Swift, Davis will likely slot in as Chicago's primary right guard, needing to protect his rookie quarterback immediately. Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins. Higgins wasn't bad by any means last year, except maybe for his own gaudy standards. The Clemson product notched career lows in catches, 42, yards, 656, and touchdowns, 5, primarily because he was far from 100%. Higgins suffered both a chest rib fracture as well as a hamstring sprain. Whether he stays in Cincinnati or is dealt, Higgins has a strong incentive to bounce back this year. A line of Brinks trucks are prepared to reward him for previously excellent play. He's never played a full season and collected a receiving grade lower than 78.8. And if Higgins looks again like a WR1, he should cash in. Cleveland Browns tackle Jack Conklin. The Browns reached the AFC wildcard game despite one of their better offensive players leaving the season opener with a knee injury and never returning. In Conklin's stead, Cleveland rotated between Dawan Jones and James Hudson III, with neither matching the pedigree of the starter. Admittedly, Conklin wasn't amazing in 2022, but he was arguably the NFL's best right tackle from 2019 to 2021, when he allowed just 9 sacks on 2,549 snaps, a ridiculous 0.35% sack rate. If the 29-year-old can stay healthy and look more like his prior form, the Browns' offense could find an even better rhythm, a scary proposition for defenses. Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Brandon Cooks. The cash-strapped Cowboys didn't add many supplemental playmakers next to All-Pro CeeDee Lamb this offseason, leaving Cooks as the team's second receiving option. The veteran's first season in Dallas was decent in terms of counting stats, 54 catches for 657 yards and 8 scores, but the deeper metrics were not on par. Cook's 2.3 yards after the catch per reception was the worst mark of his career, as was his 1.19 yards per route run figure. From 2020 to 2022, Cooks never had a campaign of earning a sub-71.9 receiving grade or going below 1.64 yards per route run. Even though he's already 30, there's a solid chance Cooks looks a bit more like that player than the one we saw last season. Denver Broncos cornerback Patrick Surtain. Surtain is widely considered one of the NFL's premier defensive backs, but the former first-round pick wasn't as locked down in coverage a season ago. The 24-year-old was targeted 20 more times in 2023 than in 2022, giving up 15 more catches and 284 additional yards. Another issue was that Surtain committed 6 penalties, more than his first 2 years combined. The good news is that Surtain actually bettered his tackling for the second straight season, reducing his missed tackle rate to a microscopic 3.9%. If that figure remains steady in 2024, it's hard not to bet on Surtain returning to All-Pro status. Detroit Lions edge Marcus Davenport. Davenport's time in Minnesota last year almost feels like a fever dream. The former Saints pass rusher played just 114 snaps because of a high ankle sprain, and even when he was active, he disappointed. Davenport collected only 7 pressures on 77 pass rushing snaps, and he missed 40% of his tackles. In New Orleans, though, Davenport proved to be a regularly disruptive defensive lineman. He generated 30 or more pressures in each of his first 5 seasons, and especially peaked toward the end of his first contract, with an 88.8 overall grade in 2021. The Lions' defensive line should be formidable this year with Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, and Alan McNeil. But don't discount Davenport looking more like himself and also wreaking havoc.